Another thing that we need to do is to display what we're entering. And we can use this output message here for that. In fact, I think we need another message for, we'll make the output instead of red. Let's make that, where's red? Green to mean good. We use a lot of colors when we program, and it's a good idea. So this is just the output label, and let's create another one. Right click, copy, and we're going to create an error label. Instead of having that message box, I already showed you about the message box, but we're going to have an error label as an ERROR. So we're going to paste that, and just so that we're going to check this designer.cs file because it makes sure it went to the right spot. So that was label 3, OK button 7, and that's 8. So that's okay. We are going to change the name of that to error label. And we are going to change it to red to display errors. And the text, we're going to make it spaces, but we can put error. Okay, so we're going to, when we load up, when we move spaces to this first output label, we're going to move spaces to error label too. The text field, their text property, I mean. Okay, so, and instead of having a message box show up, we're going to say the error label text equals what we say, error, and we can make it look a little nicer. Error name text prompt. We'll say prompt. People, or box, okay, is spaces. We'll just say empty. And we don't have to have a period. Okay, so we're going to use the error label instead of a message box. And whenever they click OK, it's going to take the number that's in the text box and move that to the array of the element that they pick, and it's going to output the array list. So for now, let's write a method to display our list, okay? So we'll just call it a new region. And you don't have to use regions. That's completely up to you. I think it kind of makes it easier to find things, but you don't have to use them. I'm going to say display array. There. So we're going to just create it. Private void display array. That's as good a name as any. So we're using this called names, N-A-M-E-S, okay? And we don't need the list anymore. We can get that out. We're not using this double number, so let's get that out. That was just to show you. We can say names 3, but we can also initialize them. I thought we'd already done that. That may have been one that I started and deleted. Uh-oh. I did a period instead of a comma. Comma. Or I could have just said, instead of 3, I could have said 4. Let's do that. New. Of course, they're going to be null, which is fine. So we're starting it off to 4, and you can't make it any bigger. And well, we could make it bigger, but that means we're going to have to do more testing. So we're going to make it small. We're going to make it 4 for this. Now, I'm going to delete these comments out. They're just going to confuse things. Okay. And the counter, we don't need this anymore because we're not using that. And I'm saving my work. I save it all the time. So we can use, we could have used it, but we're just going to say element number. So we're going to say if the text box is okay, that means it's not null and it's not spaces. We're going to go get the number that was in that index text box. Let's see what we named that. We named it number text box. Okay, so we're going to say int element number, E-L-E-M-E-N-T, equals number text box text, but we're going to convert it to an integer. And there are several ways you can do that, but since we're positive it's going to start off a number, then we can just use convert. Convert to int 32. Now if this was null or something like that, then it would crash on us. But we know it's going to be fine because we've got it. We'll accept numbers only. And we're going to move a 0 to begin with. So it's going to start off a number and it's not going to be null. So we say number text box dot text equals, we could have started off with any number, but a 0 is good. And what else are we going to do? We are going to display the name array. Okay, so we're going to start off with this output label. We're going to make it 0, our spaces, because every time we click enter, we are going to do this and we want to clear out the old data. And there's several ways you can do it. We can do a for each to whip through the array, which that's handy, or we can do most of the things that people learn first is a for int I equals whatever. And so we're going to start off with that one. Okay, we're going to say for, and this is going to be to loop iteration. If you've done any other languages like Java or something, it's just like that. So int I equals 0, because we're start off at 0. I is less than names dot length. That is the length of the array. Semicolon. There was I plus plus, and you don't have to use I. Most people do. You could use anything you wanted. Okay, so we're going to start off this output label for each element. We're going to say if I, because the first one we do not want to have a comma in between, but after the first one we want to have a comma after each one. So we'll say if I equals 0, or, and we don't want it after the last one either. I equals names length -1, and we could have done that differently too. We could have said greater than and equal or something like this, but we're going to have a little character. We're going to say string comma equals, we're going to start it off as spaces, or we'll start it off as a comma. Okay, but if I equals 0 or it's the last one of the list, then we are going to say it's just spaces. Equals nothing. It's just going to be, it's not even a space, it's just nothing. So, but then after that, we're going to say output label, text, and then we're going to say, there's several ways you can do this too, but we're just going to say plus equals, and we're going to say comma, and then we're going to do the same thing, except this time we're going to say name of whatever the index is. So text, and then we're going to say names, and we're going to call it the I. So like it'll be go through 0 through 3. Okay. So right now they're nothing. I don't think it's going to crash on us. It might. So we might need to do a string format. Instead of that, let's say string format instead of just the names.I, because if it starts off at null, it will. So let's say string, and that, even if it's null, it should be fine now. So let's just run this and see what happens. It should just be spaces, or we might get a few commas in the middle. Except that we haven't called it, so that's okay. Okay, it did compile, so that's okay. So every time OK button is clicked, we're going to run that. What do we call that? Display array data. Okay. And so we're going to say if it's not equal spaces, if it is equal spaces, they get an error message. If it's not equal spaces, we get the number of indexes. And we're going to be real careful at first, but we are going to have to add some conditions in, okay? So let's go ahead and run this real quick. So we're going to say element 1 equals Cindy. Click OK. Okay. Ha ha ha. We don't know what we did. We'll figure that out though. Looks like it's the name form 1. So let's see what's going on here. Okay. Yep, it used the name of the program because I put the wrong variable here. We're fortunate it didn't crash because that's what we called the array was names, and I didn't get it right. So let's try it again. So we're going to say Cindy, and I got that wrong. And we're going to put it 1, and we're going to say okay. Okay, so we got a space, and then Cindy, and a space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have to see. I might not have enough commas. Let's see. So if I equals 0 or I equals names dot length minus 1, comma equals spaces. So the length was going to be 3. Well, we're just going to say length. So what is the length? 4. 2, 3, 4. So we should have had 3 commas. Let's check this real quick. Let's run it through the debugger, okay? Cindy, and we'll just leave it at 0. We'll go this. So, name's length is 4, and it starts off at Cindy, and so that would be it's 0. See, 5. I'm clicking F5 to keep going. So we're gonna say comma is nothing, comma is nothing. If during comma, oh, okay, that's fine. Let's click F5 again. Comma is a comma now, and I is equal to 1. So let's do F5. Comma is a comma, and I is 2. So we should get to 3. Now, F5 again. Comma is nothing, and I is 3. And so that'd be, and that's what might be right. F5, let's go. Cindy, comma, nothing, comma, nothing. Okay, well, we're going to fill them all up and we'll see how that goes. That's Cindy. Now let's do Tracy. That's my sister's name. And we're just going to take that off and click F1. And then we're going to click Mark. And that's going to be 2. And we should get one more. We're going to say Cindy again. And this should be fine. Cindy. Okay. Well, that's fine. We need to have this do more. Say if I equals 0 or I equals names.length, it should never actually be length. Comma equals 0. Why don't we just do that a little different? Say if I equals 0, comma equals nothing. Else, comma, equals, there we go. Except that I think it's going to give us one on the last one too, and we don't want that. So, but let's do it anyway. Let's run it again. You know, sometimes in programming, it's just got a lot of trial and error. I was criticized because Cindy 1 because of not having it down pat, but that's not the way programming works. Mark, and Cindy again. Okay. And then if we was to say 4, guess what? It's going to crash because it's array. So, but we're going to fix that. Okay. So now then what we do, we'll say if so that it won't crash next time. Say if names dot, no, excuse me, I'm sorry, element number is greater than names dot length minus 1, or we'll say greater than or equal to. We're going to do something else. We're going to do this other thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill out the display. Okay. So let's copy this error label. And I know this program doesn't make much. It's just kind of teaching you a little bit about some of the features you can do. We are going to do a useful program here next, okay? So don't worry about that. Totally. So we're going to say is invalid number entered. Okay. So if the element number is greater than or equal to the names.length, then they're going to get a message. Otherwise, they're going to display it for us. Okay? So let's try that again. Name is Cindy of 0. And then we say Tracy. We can say Tracy again and we'll show you it just overwrites Cindy. And then we can say Cindy of 1. And then we say Mark of 10. And this time we should not get an error. Okay. I think that we've kind of gone over a lot of stuff that we need to do and learn up front. And in the next program, I'm going to decide what I want us to do. If we wanted to do the unit of measure converter, the only thing with that is that you've got that table that's got all that data, and I had it on the Udemy class, and it's all nice, neat, and packaged, and that would probably be easier for you to just do it from there on that class. So I might come up with another little utility program for us to do, but we'll see you in a few days. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. Bye.